we're gonna open Christmas gifts up early. That you're looking at on the screen right now is a few of the images that I captured before we got out for Christmas this year. The holidays can bring out the biggest smiles, as you can see. They smiled even before they knew what was in the box. It's something about the thrill of surprises. Now, if I can get my box, we can see what's all inside of it. In the box, we have obedience. Obedience is something that we've been taught by our parents, by our teachers, by officers of the law, and even from the Bible. Our parents tell us to say please and thank you, yes ma'am, no ma'am, and we do it. Our teachers tell us to do it this way, and you won't get it wrong. We say yes ma'am, yes sir, and we do well on our assignment. The law says shelter in place, and we stay at home. In the Bible, Samuel told Saul that to obey God's order is better than making a sacrifice out of fear. I'm learning that it's important to be obedient, but it's also okay to be curious and ask questions. It's important that we learn for ourselves to be able to survive in the world. During this presentation, we're going to unleash the contents out of these boxes in order to use our gifts. While it's important to learn for yourself as a citizen, it's also important to learn for yourself as a student. Each participant was asked to multiply the numbers 54 times 26. When asked why the space was left blank or why was a zero in the blank, these were their responses. One person said, I don't know. I can't really remember why my teacher taught me that way, but I think it's because you're multiplying the 6, which is in the ones place, so you have to move it to the tens place. Another person said, I learned 20 years ago. I don't have a real answer. I just remember my teacher teaching me that way. Teachers said, because I multiplied 20 times 4, I got 80. I should have added the 0, but since I know it, I just didn't write the 0. Another teacher said, a space saver, placeholder, which indicates that you're working with the tens place in the bottom number. The number one thing that's evident here with all of these people, they definitely didn't get in trouble when they were younger. They followed all orders. They were very obedient. Now let's look at what happens when you're at home.
Good morning.
Good morning, Mom. Can I go to Rod's house?
No, sir.
Why not?
Because I said so.
That's not fair.
As you can see, the guy in the clip asked why, but he didn't take it any further. Sometimes you have to go digging to get what you really need. Now let's see what we have in the second box. Strategies. We use strategies even at a very young age. For example, this may be one of the scenarios that you deal with in your household daily.
Wait, can I have a snack?
No, you haven't eaten anything yet. If our mom tells us no one time, we strategize how to get a yes the next time. What if I clean up before I ask her? Then she might say yes. Or I could just ask that since he mostly tells me yes. The little kid you see kicking and screaming in the store because they want candy, it's just their strategy. God even had a plan for teaching Moses how to lead his people across the sea and through the desert. God told Moses that if he raised his right hand, the earth would swallow all of his enemies. He also told them that his love would be there to lead the people and his strength would help to guide them. Moses and his people traveled through the desert for 3 days with no water. After reaching Mara, they finally found a stream of water, but they couldn't drink it because it was contaminated. God used the strategy of placing a piece of wood in the water so that the people could have water. It's important to have strategies, but not only is it important to have strategies, it's important to know which strategies to use for the right thing, because it could be the difference with struggling and not struggling. It could help us through those hard times. So make sure when you choose a strategy, you choose the right one to help get you through. Now, let's go and find a strategy that's going to help us to solve that multiplication problem from earlier.
Welcome to Top Scoop. Let's talk box. What is it, how to do it, and when to use it? Trust me, you'll thank me later.
Hey, I think I've heard of that before. You're going to have to teach it to me.
Okay, I'll teach you, but you can't learn if you keep jumping around. So do you think you can control it yourself?
Absolutely.
Perfect. Just make sure you pay attention to all the steps so you can use it at home too.
I'm ready. Let's get our learn on.
The box method is an easier way to multiply multi-digit numbers. I think that it is easier than the traditional method.
It's time for some Math Magic Mania! Get ready. Math Mania! Okay, so today we're going to multiply in a box. Can you believe it? We're multiplying in a box. We're going to have the ball up. I'm going to be curled up. No, ball! Okay, just joking. So we're going to multiply using a box, and I'm going to use some magical cards. Pull out the number 1. So this is going to be my first number. So the number 1, it's going to be 1,000 something. Pull right off the top. 1,400. Wonder what's going to be next. Okay, let's pull out another one. I'm going to dig deep. 0. Whoa, my card dropped. Got it. And let's see. Deep. 5. So we're going to be multiplying the number 1,405. Let's see what we're going to multiply it by. Shuffle my cards up really good. Yeah. Some magic. Okay. Digging, and what do I get? A 7. So all of this is going to be multiplied times the number 7. Are you ready for multiplication in the box? Okay, so like I said, we're going to multiply in a box. So let's go through some steps. And when we make these steps, make sure you're taking your notes so you can use them later. Okay, so first we have to put this number in expanded form because it's a really big number. Magic. I've got to decompose it. So we're going to write it in expanded form. So the 1 has a value of 1,000 because it's in the thousands place. So I'm going to write 1,000. And I'm going to move on over to the next number, which is the number 4. But since it's in the hundreds place, it has a value of 400. Now, moving on over to number 0. Let's think. Well, 0 is nothing. So, even though it's in the tens place, that would mean that it's multiplied by 10. So 0 times 10 is still 0. So for this value, I can still put 0. And now the value of the 5 in the ones place. It's a 5 and it's in the ones place. So I would multiply it by 1, which means that the 5 has a value of 5. And now I'm all set. So the 7 just has a value of 7. So it's going to be 7 in expanded form as expected. Now, time for some real magic. Let's create our box! Oh, wait. That's a really small box. I've got to stretch it. That box is only big enough for one number. I have 4 different values in my first number, so I have to stretch my box really, really hard, kind of like elastic. And now my box is big enough for all of my numbers. And my 7, I'm going to squeeze it over to the other side. So my 7 is going to go on the outside of my box. And I'm going to place my other number across the top. But I'm going to make sure that it has its own space in case it wants to form its own magic trick. So let's get started. My first number is 1,000. So I'm going to write it and erase so I don't get confused. So in my first box, I have 1,000. So I erase it. And now I'm going to write my next number in my next box, which is 400. So I erase it. And now my next box, which has a value of absolutely nothing. And now for my very last one, I'm going to put 5. And now that value has a value. And I think I'm all set. So our next step is going to be to distribute. So I'm going to put a little here, and a little there, and a little there, and a little everywhere until everything is all gone. And the first one. 400 gets to go in this box. 0 gets to go there, and 5 gets to go here. Okay, now my little 7. It's so popular, it has to go to everyone's house. We're going to put it in there. So 1,000 times 7. Leaving the thousands house. And now it's going to go to my next number, which is 400. So it's going to be 400 times 7. And going to go to the next one. So it's going to be 0 times 7. And now for the last one, it's going to be 5 times 7. Now, since I have all of my expressions magically appeared in a box, I am going to magically give you some multiplication. Magic trick. No thinking at all. Just basic facts, right? Okay, so 7 times 1 is 7, right? I have 7. And now I need to count my zeros. 1, 2, I have 3 zeros. So guess what? I have to write down 3 zeros. 1, 2, 3. Magic! The same thing. 7 times 4, 28. Count my zeros. 1, 2. So I put 2 zeros. Moving on. 0 times 7 is voila, 0. And lastly, 5 times 7 is 35. Awesome. Okay. I'm back and it's time to add so we can get the answer to this multiplication product. Okay, so now we have to add our partial products. 7,200, 0, and 35. But let's make sure we line them up so that it's easier to add. So the first number is 7,000. The next number is 2,800. The next number is 0. And the next number is 35. 5 in my ones place, 3 in my tens place. Now I need to add up all of these numbers correctly. So if I add all of the numbers in my ones place, 0 plus 0 plus 0 plus 5 is equal to 5. Now I need to add the numbers in my tens place. 0 plus 0 plus 3 is 3. Now if I add my numbers in my hundreds place, 0 plus 8, I get 8. And if I add the numbers in my thousands place, get 7, 8, 9. So my answer is 9,835. So that means that 1,405 times 7 is equal to 9,835. All possible with the box. Sometimes learning strategies take time. The key to carrying out the perfect strategy is practicing it. Learn the strategy, use the strategy, succeed with the strategy. This goes for life in the classroom, life as a Christian, and also life doing whatever you love. I wonder what's in this box. I don't even want to tear the paper off. It's so pretty. This has got to be something good. What are y'all thinking? Oh yeah. Let's open it up. What do we have here? Whoa, that box was so small, but yet it held something so powerful. So, as you probably didn't know, this presentation was originally about how to do the box method in order to multiply. Little did I know it was going to be a little deeper than that. While gathering information, I found out that the multiplication method that we once learned and now use daily is missing a few puzzle pieces for a few individuals, maybe even for yourself. As expected, I will check with my participants later to see if they understand the method, but for now, let's see what happens when you lack understanding.
You don't understand, sweetheart. We do. No, you don't. If you guys really cared about me, you wouldn't make me go to school.
Don't talk to your mother that way.
It might be easy for you two, but I'm not good at school. And of all subjects, math definitely doesn't come easy to me.
Okay, well, you have no choice. You gotta go to school.
Please, Mom, will you explain to him that if I go to school, I'm just gonna fail the test? I need more time to study.
Don't play your mom and I against each other.
I'm not.
Yes, you are. You always do.
Please, Dad, I don't understand anything in that class. It's like everything that Mrs. Brent says is like another language to me. I can't fail again.
No, you're right. You can't fail again.
So?
So if you fail the test, you face the consequences.
Consequences? Richard.
You'll be grounded again.
But you're setting me up for failure because I'm telling you that I can't pass the test.
Well, then you're gonna learn the hard way that you should have been studying while you're on social media and watching TV and hanging with your friends.
But I can study all day long, but it doesn't matter if I don't understand what I'm studying. Please, Mom, help me out here.
I'm sorry, but your father and I, we're together on this, okay? Go to school and just try your best, honey. And if you fail, figure it out, okay? It's gonna be fine.
It's not gonna be fine, Mom. I'm pleading with you guys, please.
I don't have any more time to discuss this because I need to get to work. Bye.
As you can see, there are so many emotions present when there is a lack of understanding. In the clip, the teenager was very upset about having to take a quiz she wasn't prepared for. She lacked confidence, she felt defeated. She even felt inferior, saying that learning the material was like a different language. She knew she would fail, and this made her feel useless. When asking my participants why the 0 or why the blank space, one replied, "Am I supposed to know this? I feel like I'm being judged because I don't know." This is how our students feel sometimes. So it's important for us to make sure we teach them strategies that they can learn, understand, and mimic. Speaking of understanding, I think this is the perfect time to check on what understanding looks like at home.
Hey Mom, can I go to Rod's house?
No, sir.
Why not?
Because Rod's family is going through something right now and they need to be alone.
Are they going to be okay?
Yes, they will. We can call and check on them tomorrow if you would like.
Yes, I would really like that. Thanks, Mom.
Hey, I almost forgot about my participant. Let's go and check on Jonathan to see if he understands how to multiply using the box method. Maybe my instruction was exactly what he needed for him to understand why to put the 0 or why there's no 0 and why to move to the tens place.
So I'm going to use the same strategy in order to multiply this 2-digit by 2-digit problem. I think I've got it. Okay, so if we put 23 in expanded form, the 2's value is 20 and the 3's value is 3. As expected, the 1 is in the tens place so it has a value of 10 and the 5 has a value of 5.
Exactly.
Give me a second, I know this one. I need to use my expanded form to put it on the outside of the boxes.
You got it, dude.
I remember this part because it's like a puzzle. You distribute the numbers in the boxes going down and going across. This makes it easier to multiply. Now, use the expressions you created to multiply to get the partial products. This is the second to the last step so we're almost done.
Lastly, you should add all of your partial products together.
Yeah, and when you add them together you'll get 345. Right?
Absolutely. I guess you really did get it. You did awesome on your first try.
Yes, and I definitely agree with them when they say this is easier. Everything is so organized in this method.
Jonathan isn't the only one learning. Check this out.
So M is the slope, B is the y-intercept, this is the x-axis, and this here is the y-axis. So, 2, if you plug in y for 2, then that's 1xm plus 0. So 2 is m plus 0. So the slope 2 is m. Does that make sense?
Very good, Aubrey. You've really gotten a grasp on this algebra now. Very good. Aubrey was failing this class, and now she is getting an A. And if Aubrey can do it, you can do it. Thank you, Miss Aubrey. You may take a seat. Teacher's pet.
Really? I turned my grade from an F to an A, and now I'm a teacher's pet. Maybe if you put some more effort into your studying, you would do better.
Philippians 4:1 and 7-9 tells us to rejoice in the Lord always, and the peace that transcends all understanding will guard our hearts and minds in Christ Jesus. We are also told to do whatever is true, noble, right, lovely, admirable, excellent, or praiseworthy, and to keep it in our minds. Whatever we have learned or heard from the Lord, put it into practice, and the God of peace will be with us. Many times as Christians, we are faced with trials that may confuse the way we think or cloud our judgment. This verse tells us that if we listen to and put into practice everything that God tells us to do, God will bring peace into our lives.
That's all, folks. See you next time.